What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven, and before we get into this video, I just wanted to ask you to please subscribe if you have not already. I put out new Storybook Brawl videos every day at 9:30 p.m. EST, so if you like what you see and you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. I am also a pretty small channel, so I do pay a lot of attention to the comments and the likes, so if you want to give me some additional feedback there, I will know what you guys like to see. Enjoy the video. We're gonna start a little bit into this game so I can show off some of the sweet stuff. The beginning wasn't that exciting. This game is played on the previous patch, which doesn't have that many changes, but you can see this is the old mummy, the 5-cost mummy, and that is a pretty big change for how this game winds up. There is just an explosive finish with that mummy that is a lot of fun. So even though it's on the old patch and mummy has since been changed, I think that this is still a game that you guys are going to want to see. So we are up against Loki here and hopefully killing them. Yeah, we are going to deal a little bit of damage to Loki, get them down to 24, and we're low, but on the 5th level is generally when Skip starts to stabilize a little bit, so I do think that we are in a decent spot, and I lock a Riverwash Mermaid and a Sherwood Shore Shot as doubles, and then I find the triples after a roll. Don't really like any of these treasures here, was probably just looking for boots, but then I'm going to sell and play a unit down so that I can upgrade a Riverwash Mermaid, and I do think Deck of Many Things is fine, but I feel comfortable enough in my position here that I go ahead and pick up Fool's Gold, and that is going to help me in terms of just staying ahead, buying these 5-cost units before my, and 6-cost units eventually too, before our opponents are able to. And we don't really need the spells at this point in the game either. I move the Cupid to the front row just to give Friendly Spirit and Shadow Assassin a little bit higher chances of slaying now that they have that Riverwash Mermaid behind them. I want to get some slays, and yeah, if we can start growing this Friendly Spirit by 2 a turn, that would be pretty sweet as well. I just realized right now, actually, that I could have not played down a unit and instead just purchased that Forbidden Fruit, so maybe that would have been useful to lose 2 health and then have an additional unit here, either an upgraded Shore Shot or a Friendly Prince, and those units aren't too powerful, but what have you. I do think that we are in a really good spot here with the fact that our Friendly Spirit was able to get a slay off, and then Shadow Assassin was able to even get another slay. So some really good hits for us, and we will definitely be walking out of this battle alive, and that was against the lobby leader as well. So that's always nice when Skip gets to the point where they can stabilize against the lobby leader and really start to come back into the game. Not sure what I'm looking for specifically other than the Sea Terror. That would be really sweet. I do think the Siren is an okay unit, but this game is about, well, I can check here. Oh, no, I can't. Okay, the name isn't popping up, the date isn't popping up. I believe that this video is about a month old from when I'm recording it, and then you guys are going to see it a week after that. But it is I don't really remember all of the specifics of what was going on in my head when I played this, and this was even before I had hit Mythic for the first time. This game was about in the 3700s, towards the middle to end around like the 20th of October. But still, we're making some sweet things happen, and I'm going to pick up the Chupacabra here because it will have a little bit more scaling and allow us to backline the Cupid. It is potentially a little bit late for the Chup, So we will see if that is able to do work for us. Yeah, unfortunately, I do think that this Choop is a little bit too late, so kind of interesting, but we should be carried pretty hard by this Shadow Assassin, and that should be enough to just win us these battles here, and yeah, try to stabilize and stuff. But now we're level 6, and now we can start to pick up some 6-drops. It's really tough because I don't really want to break up this Baba Yaga and Riverwash Mermaid strategy, but Gumblegore is just way too good. So I am going to grab Gumblegore here, and then I have the opportunity to grab a Pumpkin, and honestly, that seems pretty good right now. One of the things that I think is one of the best strategies that Skip can do to stay ahead is to scam, and by scamming units. And Pumpkin is just a powerful unit in its own right, but it also has the potential to just do some silly scammy things, and that's good as well. I debate moving my units around a little bit, but I don't really have any slay units other than the Riverwash Mermaid support, so I do think it is important to put this Shadow Assassin in the first position, and then it will gain +4/+4 when it slays, and then it will also gain an additional +4/+4 if the Chupacabra can slay, but that doesn't seem super likely at this point in the game. We're up against Krampus, who does have an on-board related hero power, but is going to mean that our opponent's units are probably a little bit stronger, but also Krampus, you do see run some like Black Cats and things like that. Looks like we definitely have the opportunity to slay here. It's not going to matter too much. I mean, it'll help the Chupacabra in future battles, but the Shadow Assassin got sniped. So this is definitely some good scam units and things going on. My opponent doing a good job to just find some units that can potentially steal some games. And I think we are going to get this one stolen from us. Yeah, just barely though. But that is going to mean that we take 8 damage down to 13. So a little bit unfortunate that that didn't work out. But now our Choop is up to 2019. So still a little bit behind the times, but almost caught up to 2021 there. And Doom Breath seems like a really sweet one. It's decent too with the Riverwash Mermaid, though I'm not sure if I'm going to play it with the Riverwash Mermaid. We're getting a lot of gold from this Fool's Gold, though, and Monkey's Paw, I think, is really good with Pumpkin, and I think most people would probably take Monkey's Paw here, but I really like Mimic Chest, and like I said, this was before I hit Legend, so maybe I just wasn't fully thinking through all of the possibilities there with that one. But I think Mimic Chest is still one of the most powerful treasures in the game, so I don't really mind picking that one up here either. And this is a really interesting board because I could sell Friendly Spirit and my bench to just throw a Gumblegore out there. It's really interesting that I'm not tempted to support the dragon with the Gumblegores or anything like that, and I'm here for it because let's gain some permanent stats rather than just support it the one time. Looks like the dragon will get 1 slay, so that is pretty sweet. The Shadow Assassin, however, will miss, and then the Pumpkin will get a Rotten Applewood. So that is a pretty good draw for my units there. And let's see, the Applewood is going to take down that, and then the Shadow Assassin will take down their Princess White. So I do think that we come out of this one alive, dealing a decent amount of damage to the Trophy Hunter. Yeah, half their life total. And now with Fool's Gold Mimic, we've got 20 gold to work with. So we can be looking for some triples on one of these 6-drops. We'll pick up a Pumpkin, and we'll see what else we can find. Just rolling past the chicken, just to make sure I've got enough time to pick everything out. But I probably could have picked up both of those chickens there. Maybe that would have been good. Debating Hercules because I am against the Ghost. So I'm trying to think, okay, how can we make Hercules work here? Maybe I could put Shadow Assassin back to this part of the comp. I think that there's a slightly better maneuvering here, but I do need to play both Gumblegores because 33 is an awkward breakpoint for Hercules. I really would love it to be 34, so that way it only takes 3 hits, so we'll make it a 40 attack unit. But yeah, I definitely could have seen playing like my backline to be Riverwash in the 5th slot and my front line to just be Dragon. Oh, that's interesting. I am gonna go back to 33. Well, I don't really love that, but this will at least also grow my Shadow Assassin, but I do think I should have my Shadow Assassin attacking earlier as well. Maybe that I'm just thinking that, okay, well, one combat I need to have the hero buffed, and one combat I don't, so maybe let's just take the passive scaling while I am up against the Ghost. And that was probably the big thought process there. We are going to get 1 hit on the Hercules before my opponent's entire board dies thanks to the dragon. But yeah, would have loved to have that Riverwash. I guess that was another reason to put Hercules that early. And we can grab a Baba Yaga here, so I go ahead and do that. And you can see Grimsoul is still in this game, but I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to play it because too powerful. No, because I don't actually really have any slays here. My only slay is this Riverwash Mermaid, which is rather silly, to be honest, that this is the only slay that I've come up with. And then I'm actually going to get rid of it so that we can upgrade a pumpkin, and whatever level 6 treasure I take here is going to be doubled. So Evil Eye is pretty tempting, and it would have been nice if I didn't just get rid of the Riverwash Mermaid too, but Pandora's Box, in this patch, Pandora's Box transforms after 2 brawls and actually does interact with Mimic, but it interacts with Mimic in a really weird and confusing way that I think meant that I didn't realize what was going on. It's tough to put myself back in that mindset. So basically what will happen is the Pandora's Box will transform into a treasure, and then the screen will just prompt you, do you want to replace one of your treasures? And if you do, I believe you just get an additional, or you used to just get an additional copy of whatever the box had already transformed into, but we also don't really need that because we've got the Mimic chest. And maybe it would be nice to have 2 copies of a treasure plus the Mimic chest, copying those things again. But that'll depend on what other treasures we have by the time that box cracks into combats. And the +8 gold a turn is also just going to be helpful in terms of allowing us to... I'm getting distracted a little bit by this combat, but it's just going to be helpful in terms of allowing us to find additional treasures before that happens. So one of the reasons that I'm getting a little bit distracted is we are playing against Loki here with Mirror Mirror and a bunch of mummies, and that is a little bit of a spoiler of things to come. We were able to beat Loki actually, but their board is pretty strong and it's only going to get stronger, and they're going to definitely do well against some of the other competitors here. We pick up a 2nd copy of Doom Breath and find a 3rd copy just in time to be able to create a level 6 doubled treasure. The Arc isn't really, we're not set up for the Arc at all. We could make it work, especially with Pumpkin. It would be really cool, give everything +24 on the resummon, but you know what's also cool? Just giving everything triple attack on the resummon, and that is going to be pretty sweet as well. It also pumps the dragon up to 100 attack, and means that we could potentially find spells for it or something like that. But now we've got a bunch of attack on the dragon. Yeah, I like this. Let's move some things around so that way the Hercules doesn't need any more attack. It's at 21, but it's going to, unless it gets sniped by like a ranged unit or something. That's definitely something to consider. But this huge Doom Breath is just going to wipe out half of my opponent's board. Doom Breath is also really good against Geppetto. I believe that they had Vultures and Queen of Hearts last time that we saw them, but if they have any Vultures, if they have any Hippocampuses even, this dragon is just going to devour Hippocamps, and of course, if they have any backline Bear Stains, this is going to eat those as well. So pretty huge power spike here, and we're going to have another huge power spike next turn as we get to activate our Pandora's box. And there we go, and my opponent actually doesn't have anything in the back line. They just have a whole bunch of animals, but we did completely wreck all of their Princess Peeps, which takes away a bunch of the stats on their Hippocampus. But honestly, like, we're just on a full ranged comp. Oh yeah, we're also going to get a level 6 treasure too. I guess we're just going to have to skip that one. But we should have more than enough stats to take out this Hippocampus. They are going to be able to kill our dragon here. And honestly, this one's up to the pumpkin. This could go either which way, but a pumpkin giving a bunch of minions with like 50 attack in the front row is also going to be pretty good. So that is going to work out pretty nicely for us here, and we are going to eliminate Geppetto. A very expressive Geppetto there as they continue to emote. So we will get a second copy of whatever thing we pick, and you can see the Phoenix Feather kind of animating on the side of the screen. After I realize that I already have a Phoenix Feather, I go ahead and skip this, and then it says choose a treasure to replace, and this is why it gets even more confusing, because I just skipped a treasure, but I think I knew what was going on there. Basically, 2 Phoenix Feathers I think is going to be enough, and I do want to hang on to my Singing Swords. We will have to fight Krampus again here before we get to face off against Loki with their mirrored mummies, and you guys get to see that big explosive finish. But I think that we've been able to make some really fun stuff happen here, and I don't know what I'm looking for or what I can find, but this represents like plus 12 attack on the dragon, so that is really sweet. We'll pick up that. Can't cast another spell this turn. I could lock for a dream. That's kind of interesting. And I will buy 2 units. I also could have just purchased the Cinderella. I think that would have left me with slightly more gold. We get Pigomorphed here, and then our Shadow Assassin gets turned, and then the dragon only gets a 2-for-1 trade there. And my opponent's looking pretty good, but it's really going to depend on what is under these Crocs, as I get to make 2 Hercules here to trade 1-for-1 with my opponent's stuff, and we kill their ranged unit. They kill our ranged unit, but then we've got a pumpkin as our last unit there, so we are going to hit our opponent for a nice little 18 damage there. Pretty nicely done. And now I'm thinking really hard. We are going to dream, and this is kind of an interesting one. I think it's inconsequential on how the game winds up playing out, but probably should have just gone with Muerte. The big thing was I'm thinking all of my units are so high attack, and like maybe I want to put the pumpkin in the front line, but the fact that my pumpkin only summoned like 4 units on the last combat because of the pig, like that should be something that I'm considering, and just trying to there's Harvest Moon there, but that should be something that I am just trying to avoid by just making sure, okay, if the pumpkin gets sniped, we will make sure that it is still summoning like the correct number of units. I wind up putting in the Friendly Spirit here, and then I move some other things around, and I'm going to put this Shadow Assassin in the very last spot. This is kind of what I was getting to before. I was kind of distracted by the dream, but I don't want to play this Hercules because its attack is actually too high. I would much rather the Doom Breath get resummoned. So how this should work out is if my opponent attacks first and kills anything other than the Doom Breath, I will spawn 2 Doom Breaths, and if they attack and kill the Doom Breath, then I'll at least get the Doom Breath back anyways. So my opponent shrinks all of the attack of all of my frontline things here, and then they've got a mummy, and you can see my pumpkin only spawns 3 things there, so probably should have taken Muerte. But they have all of these mummies just mirroring, and then I am going to spawn 2 dragons here in the front row. I'm even going to go back because this is such a crazy battle, and you miss at the start of it. I guess, what did they do? Did they shriveled or they fogged? I'm not even sure what happened here, and I'm not sure why my opponent is only playing 4 units. Oh, okay. Okay, so they did fog, but there was a monster book. It just happened so quick. Okay, sorry. Let's go back. So they shriveled and wind up fogging my shadow assassin, and shrivel works out in a really weird way with singing sword and effects that double and support and stuff like that, that it actually turns the attack of my ranged units down to 0 in the front row. Then my dragon gets in, which pops 2 mummies and a monster book, so we're going to see another shrivel. The mummies are going to destroy my backline, including my Gumblegores and my pumpkins, and then another mummy is going to take out my dragons, but this is going to spawn for me 2 more Doom Breaths. So my opponent's mummies are attacking in, and we steal a book from my opponent, and then the book is going to knock out my siren. Then my opponent attacks with another mummy that is going to clear my monster book there, and then my siren gets in and steals 2 mummies, which means that my mummies are going to hit them, and then their things are going to respawn and explode, and this is just a crazy battle. Their vampire trades with my Doom Breath, but I have that 0 attack Shadow Assassin in the front line, which is just enough to find the win. And this is just such a crazy combat. Let's go back and watch it again, because like you can't even keep up with everything that is going on in this combat. So here it is one last time. Doom Breath gets in. That's going to be 2 mummy triggers plus a shrivel plus something else just happened. Maybe it was an upgraded book. Then the mummies clear my backline. Okay, another mummy gets in. That's fine. We kill another mummy, so that's 8 more damage to everything, and another mummy spawns. I spawn 2 Doom Breaths, and then my opponent attacks with the mummy first. That's right, but my Doom Breaths can no longer attack because we've already passed that point. We get a monster book. We only get 1. They get in with the mummy. That's going to clear the monster book again, and then we get in with the siren, and that is when I have to emote because we steal their mummy triggers that we killed. That triggers both of the 2 mummies that I stole, which then triggers some more of their mummies, and then the vampire gets in there. So honestly, this has just been like such a crazy combat that it's one of the craziest final battles that I've ever gotten to experience, and part of that was due to some zany treasures as well, but also just my opponent taking all of those mummies. Mummy has since been changed so that now it only deals its damage to 1 unit based off of its attack, so it is a lot worse with Mirror. So something like this can't really even happen now, which I think just makes it all the more important to share it here and preserve it on this YouTube channel. But that's going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.